So on to the next install. We have our OneReplicas Super Stunt Luke installed with a removable chassis with a Proffie v3.9. So to access the chassis, just unscrew the pommel. Like so. So by unscrewing the pommel, you'll have access to the speaker holder. So there's our 28mm bass speaker. And the chassis has kind of a twist lock mechanism so that when the chassis is fully inserted and you twist it clockwise, it locks it in place. So right now you can't really pull it out, but if you twist it counterclockwise, you unlock the chassis, like so. And then you can then pull the chassis out. So here's your removable chassis with a Proffie v3.9. We got brass rods up there just for some detailing. We have our 4-rail chassis connector to interface with the NeoPixel connector. We have an accent NeoPixel strip under there, as well as the 2 switches over here. All along the chassis we have some greebly work. There. Over here we have our battery holder. We've got the spring side for the negative over here. It's also marked positive there for the relative flatter side, as well as negative over there. Down here we have our kill switch. And then our brush, it says on and off. So right now it's off, but also has the battery out, so it's not powering anyways. To the sides of the kill switch are green Edison LED filaments. So there's one there, and then we have our 28mm bass speaker. So to activate the chassis, you need to first put the battery in. So I have a protected button top key power battery. I like inserting it negative side first because I do have an extra little lip here that helps to hold and orient the battery a little bit better. So negative side first. I like to brace the chassis, compress the spring, and then just slide the positive end in, like so. And then flip the kill switch on. So right now for the accent NeoPixel strip, I have it as a battery indicator, as well as styled these 2 side LEDs there to match the current blade color. And then when the saber is on, it also does an audio flicker matching the current blade style on the saber. The Edison filaments, I have it set so that it turns on when the saber is on, like so. It also has a little flicker effect to it. And there's also a flicker effect to these 2 LEDs there because it matches the blade style. I also have twist retraction and swing ignition setup. So let's insert the chassis into the hilt itself. So when inserting the chassis, I like to make sure that the control box is facing down because there are plungers in there that are just kind of loose there, and they serve to press on these 2 tactile switches. So facing the control box down, you'll notice that the chassis has a little channel there, a little guide there. You want to make sure that is aligned with the control box because we want the chassis aligned with the screws that guide the chassis in place. So inserting the chassis first, we want to make sure this channel is aligned with the control box. You may feel that as you're inserting the chassis, it's kind of blocked by the screws, so you may want to just wiggle it around to make sure that the screws get into the guide properly. So just wiggle it in, and then the chassis may be a little bit on the tighter end because now we have the battery in. So just carefully push it in, and then once it's all the way in, make sure that the control box is still facing down because we want those plungers loose as we lock the chassis in place, and then just lock the chassis in place by rotating or twisting it clockwise. And you want to activate it, just kind of make sure that the plungers aren't getting caught on the chassis. So there. And then to fully lock everything in place, just screw the pommel in. So now that we have the pommel in, the sound should be a lot louder now because the speaker is fully enclosed. Got swing. We got our illuminated NeoPixel connector in there. This is one that I've designed. We have our auxiliary switch closer to the emitter. main switch closer to the speaker. Let's also put a blade in here. So I have a short kind of demo test blade. So I'm going to insert it in the emitter. Make sure that the screw is a little bit loose because you want to make sure that the blade slides in, and then slide it all the way in. So with my NeoPixel connector, I actually do have blade detection set up as well. When the blade makes contact with the pin connector, it makes a blade connection sound, which is what that was. When you remove it, it also makes another sound. So let's insert that all the way in and then tighten this retention screw. So we got swing ignition, blaster block, got action swings. Turn off there. Got flash, flash effect, lockup. The lockup doesn't actually show because I'm using a shorter blade. So in addition to the Luke kind of Return of the Jedi font, I also have the fonts that were previously loaded on the Graphics duplicated over here as well. So let's cycle through the fonts.
Go away!
This is the Luke font from Return of the Jedi.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. Final steps.
So we have the Ray font along with the Preon ignition. It's kind of like a unlight stable sound effect. So kind of like a light side Kylo. That's a Palpatine.
Angelic plasma. Dark Sith red. A Jedi Knight!
And then cycle it back to the Luke font. So there you go. There's your OneReplicas Super Stunt Luke installed with a removable chassis with some accent LEDs and Proffie v3.9. So I'll have the config loaded on the SD card, as well as I'll send both the SD card, or sorry, send both the config for this Luke as well as the graphics over to you. So thank you so much for letting me work on this, and may the Force be with you.